It's 1446 on the 15th of October 2025. Over the South China Sea, west of the Spratly Islands, the USS Halsey picks up an unknown radar track. Alarms echo through steel corridors. Sailors rush to battle stations as heat ripples across the horizon. Above, an E-2D Hawkeye circles, radar scanning wide. The blip splits one vessel shadowing close, cutting the formation. Visual type 815 amperes. A lookout calls. The Chinese ship angles toward the bow, barely 1,000 yards away. A horn blasts. The captain's voice is steady. Maintain separation. 2F divided by A18E. Super Hornets orbit high. Their presence a warning. Aegis screens glow. Escorts close ranks. Over the comm quote. You are crossing dangerously. Alter course. Static answers. The ship slides past. Crew on deck filming. Flight ops pause. Yellow shirts brace by the foul line. On Shiloh and Higgins, links stay tight. One picture, no gaps. The helmsman's knuckles whiten, but the course holds. A Seahawk spins up on deck, just in case. Rules of engagement sit taped by the con. Cameras track. Radios stay clipped and calm. One wrong move, and calm seas could erupt into chaos. For now, discipline keeps steel from touching steel. The South China Sea isn't just water and waves, it's a highway of global trade. Every tanker, freighter, and patrol ship moving here keeps fuel flowing, factories running, and grocery shelves filled back home. Through these lanes sails the Theodore Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group, a floating city of steel tasked to keep the sea open. For months, tension has climbed. China's Coast Guard and Navy shadow US ships more closely than ever. The Type 815 amperes intelligence vessel now stalking the carrier group isn't armed for war, but it doesn't need to be. Its job is to record, provoke, and test reactions. Every camera feed it streams home becomes data for the next confrontation. And every risky pass inches the region closer to an accident that could spark something bigger. On the Roosevelt's bridge, officers watch the radar bloom with clutter. The Chinese ship mirrors their course almost perfectly close enough to make the air thick with unease. In the Combat Information Center, sailors trade short updates. Range, bearing, speed. Nobody raises their voice. This is routine, but one wrong call can change headlines worldwide. Thousands of miles away, analysts in Washington and Manila follow the same dots on screens. The world's busiest sea is turning into a chessboard where every move is broadcast live. Allies from the Philippines and France feed radar data through the Indo-Pacific maritime chain, expanding the eyes of the fleet. It's cooperation under pressure proof that even in tense waters, no one stands alone. Out here, restraint is as vital as firepower. One side tests boundaries, the other defends them. The question isn't who blinks first, it's who understands the cost of not blinking. If you were in command, would you hold your course or turn away? Tap 1 to stand firm or 9 to de-escalate. 15:20 local time. The sea is calm, but inside the Roosevelt's Combat Information Center, tension hums like static. The Type 815 amperes has turned again, now sliding closer to the Halsey's starboard side. Range, 1,000 yards and closing, the operator reports. The captain gives a single nod. Launch the Hawkeye, keep eyes on them. The E-2D climbs from the carrier deck, its twin propellers slicing humid air. From its radar dome, the picture expands contacts, altitude, bearing. Every ship and aircraft now feeds into one shared map across the strike group. The Roosevelt, Shiloh, Halsey, and Higgins move as one steel linked by radio waves. Minutes later, 2F divided by A, 18E Super Hornets scream into the sky. Their mission, deter, not engage. The pilots know the rules, show presence, keep distance. But as they bank low over the Chinese vessel, they see crewmen aiming cameras upward. They're filming us, one pilot says over comms. Copy that, keep altitude. Then, a new tone fills the air, a sharp digital chirp. Signal intercept, the electronic warfare officer calls. They're scanning our radar frequencies. The bridge falls silent. That move crosses an invisible line. The Roosevelt transmits a warning in both English and Mandarin. Unprofessional approach. Cease activity immediately. No reply. The Halsey adjusts course 2 degrees to port, cutting the closing distance. On screen, the Chinese ship drifts closer again, matching every move like a mirror. "This is deliberate," the captain mutters. The escort ships activate AEGIS, tracking no weapons armed, but every missile tube ready if ordered. A single mistake could turn monitoring into engagement. For the next hour, it's a slow-motion duel of discipline. Every maneuver, every burst of radio chatter, measured to the second. The Roosevelt holds steady, massive, silent, unstoppable. The Chinese vessel holds too small, persistent, just close enough to irritate. Far above, the Hawkeye circles like a watchtower in the sky. Its crew watches the entire theater unfold, recording every turn for the log. Down below, sailors, grip rails, cameras rolling. Nobody breathes easy. The sea looks peaceful, but it's a fragile piece, one heartbeat away from breaking. 1645 local time. The standoff hasn't eased its tightening. The Type 815 Amperes slides across the Roosevelt Group's flank again, this time closer. Range 800 yards, the voice in CIC reports. That's inside the comfort zone. The captain stares at the digital map, jaw set. All ships, defensive posture, maintain radar lock, no weapons hot. Above, the 2 Super Hornets hold position, circling like hawks. Down below, the sea swells under the combined wake of massive hulls. On the flight deck, tension drips through the crew. Every man and woman knows one wrong transmission could set off chaos. Suddenly, interference floods the radar displays, white noise blooming across screens. "They're jamming our surface picture," an operator says. The EW officer confirms. Low power sweep, same signature as Chinese naval probes. It's a test one meant to push reactions. The captain answers by silence, holding steady. The message is clear. The US won't flinch. Minutes pass. Then the Chinese vessel flashes. Signal lights, brief bursts of Morse, indecipherable under glare. Could be a camera flash or coded light, the comms officer notes. The Halsey stays on course, engines humming low. On Shiloh, sailors manually plot bearings, watching for any sudden break in the dance. The ocean feels smaller now. Every movement is under a lens each turn, each adjustment, watched by satellites, drones, and unseen eyes online. This isn't just 2 ships, it's 2 nations testing patience. The Roosevelt's bridge receives an encrypted update. French frigate Prairial and Philippine ship Antonio Luna are closing in, adding their sensors to the shared data chain. More allies, more eyes. The group's radar picture sharpens again, interference fading. On deck, sailors exhale only slightly, because everyone knows it's far from over. The Chinese ship holds its position, refusing to yield. Out here, silence is strategy, and distance is survival. Every heartbeat feels measured against a countdown only the sea understands. If you were watching this standoff from the bridge, would you stay locked on target or break away first? Hit 1 to stand firm or 9 to pull back before it's too late. 1730 local time. Just as the radar picture begins to stabilize, a new blip appears small, fast, and low. Then another. Unidentified surface contacts. Bearing 110, the CIC operator calls. Within seconds, 4 more dots bloom on screen, racing toward the formation. "They're not ships," says the sensor chief. "Possibly drone surface skimmers." The room tightens. The Chinese vessel stays silent, holding its course as if nothing changed. But it's clear the game just escalated. The Roosevelt orders defensive posture Bravo. A warning goes out in clear English and Mandarin. Unidentified craft approaching. Alter course immediately. No response. The small contacts keep coming. The Halsey's radar locks on one of them, too small for a missile, too fast for debris. "We've got 4 inbound, range 2 miles. The captain doesn't blink. Bring CRAM online. A metallic whine fills the air as the launcher spins to life. The ship shifts 5 degrees starboard, creating a defensive arc. Fire control. Track by sequence. Don't shoot unless they cross the line. Up above, a Hawkeye crewman watches the pattern unfold. These aren't random, they're testing formation spacing. From the bridge, the captain answers quietly. Then we'll show them how we hold it. One by one, the drones veer off, splitting wide, circling at distance. No explosion, no contact. But the message lands. They can get close whenever they want. The Chinese Type 815 amperes keeps shadowing, unmoved. For the US sailors, the line between surveillance and provocation has never felt thinner. On deck, crew members film the glowing horizon, aware they've just faced the next generation of pressure, one without a single gunshot. The ocean is calm again, but nobody believes it'll stay that way. 1810 local time. The sun dips low, bleeding red across the South China Sea. For a moment, everything feels suspended. The ships, the air, even time itself. Then the tension snaps. The Type 815 amperes swings across the formation again, sharper, faster than before. The Halsey sounds a warning horn that rattles steel. They're crossing the bow again. On the bridge, the captain's voice cuts through. All stations, condition 1, maintain course. The escorts tighten formation. Shiloh locks the Chinese vessel with precision radar, a silent warning. The Roosevelt's deck clears. F, divided by A, 18E crews wait on alert. Above, the Hawkeye circles, relaying every movement. Suddenly, static floods the radio, then a white flash on the water. One of the drones reappears, skimming low between ships. Inbound contact, range 1 mile. CRAM, track target 2. The launcher spins, sensors glowing. The ship heels slightly, target in line, ready. At the last second, the drone veers, slicing through waves before exploding into spray. The shock rattles bulkheads. No damage, but every sailor feels the weight of what almost happened. The Chinese vessel slows, engines rumbling deep. The US formation holds silent, unyielding. 2 nations, 30 seconds apart from disaster. Resume course, the captain orders quietly. The ships glide ahead, cutting a perfect line through fading light. Even the sea seems to hold its breath. In CIC, an officer exhales. That was close. Too close, the captain replies. Status lights fade from red to green. On deck, ordnance crews secure gear. A Seahawk idles in standby. Allied voices check in over comms. Antonio Luna, Prairial confirming clear skies and clean radar. Lookouts call bearings in steady cadence. Logbooks fill with neat lines and exact times. Proof that discipline can outlast provocation. No one relaxes, but the rhythm of the watch returns. Night spreads fast. Red lamps glow across the bridge. The captain stands by the helm, reading the laminated rules of engagement once more. On the mast, signal lights burn steady, professional, cold, defiant. For now, the ocean is calm again, but the silence carries weight, a warning that the next encounter may not end this way. If you were on that bridge tonight, would you stay firm under pressure or pull back to avoid war? Hit 1 to stand your ground or 9 to back off before the line breaks. 1910 local time. Night fully settles over the South China Sea. The storm that never happened still hangs in everyone's mind. The Roosevelt sails in darkness, her deck lights dim to red. The carrier's wake glowing faintly under moonlight. In the Combat Information Center, silence replaces chaos. Screens hum with steady rhythm, showing only clean blue space. A petty officer scribbles the last log entry. Encounter concluded. No engagement. It sounds simple, but every sailor knows how close they came. Across the formation, the Halsey, Shiloh, and Higgins maintain distance, their AEGIS radars sweeping slow arcs. Above, the Hawkeye returns to base, engines whining low. The Chinese Type 815 amperes has fallen behind, its lights shrinking into the haze, still watching, but now at range. For the crew, the adrenaline fades, replaced by a heavy quiet. In the wardroom, coffee cups clink. A mechanic stares at the floor, replaying the flash on the water. On the bridge, the captain writes his report by hand, each word measured, deliberate. But beyond the routine lies a question nobody can shake. How many more close calls before one goes too far? Every pass, every shadow, chips away at the fragile piece holding the sea together. The United States proved its restraint tonight, but restraint has a cost, and the other side is learning. adapting, preparing. In Washington, analysts will call it a success. In Beijing, a test completed. But out here, where steel meets salt and silence, success feels less like victory and more like survival. The Roosevelt's wake stretches behind her like a scar across the dark. The sea is calm again, yet it feels like it's waiting, watching for the next signal, the next approach, the next decision that tips the balance. If you believe calm under pressure is true strength, press 1. If you think sometimes backing off is the smarter move, press 9 and tell us why below. It's 4:17 pre-dawn gray on the Philippine Sea. Aboard USS Gerald R. Ford, the scopes bloom with hard, fast returns. Alarms hammer, red lights strobe, hatches slam as sailors tear for battle stations. On deck, F-35 sea crews snap helmets on while an E-2D spins up, its dish carving a ghostly circle in the dark. Over the water, faint lances glow, sea skimmers load, ballistic arcs, high Chinese weapons already inbound. The captain orders flank speed and a hard starboard turn. Escorts slide to shield the big deck. CIC calls bearings in a flat practice chorus. The Aegis wall wakes. SM-2 and SM-6 waiting for the word. Deck handlers clear chocks. Cat crews arm the holdback bars. One engine coughs, then roars. Every second stretches. Launch now or hold. Shoot early or save rounds. Ride it out or punch through. In the next minutes, this ship either opens a hole and lives, or takes steel and fire and is lost. The Philippine Sea looks calm, but it hides one of the world's tightest choke points. These lanes connect Japan, Taiwan, and the South China Sea, pushing fuel, food, and microchips to ports that keep daily life running back home. At the center, USS Gerald R. Ford leads a ring of steel. 2 Arleigh Burke destroyers, a Ticonderoga cruiser, and a Virginia-class submarine. Their job is simple to say and hard to do: guard the sea, so commerce moves and allies keep faith. China moves to squeeze that ring. Type 055 cruisers and 52D destroyers push in from multiple bearings, backed by 54 amperes frigates and diesel-electric subs hunting for angles. Over the horizon, road mobile launchers lift. DF-21D anti-ship missiles built to hit a carrier from far away. If one gets through, it's not just a ship on fire, it's American credibility burning with it. Insurance rates jump, shippers reroute, friendly capitals call, asking if the shield still holds. On Ford's deck, F-35 sea crews strap in, while an E-2D Hawkeye builds the picture. The escorts' Aegis radars track and sort, weighing seconds against survival. Every intercept is expensive, every miss unforgiving. The math is brutal. The attacker only needs one leaker. The defender must play perfect baseball all 9 innings. That is why the group trains to fight encircled launch aircraft, break the noose, and keep the lanes open. This is a contest of bets. Beijing bets on saturation and long reach. Washington bets on sensors, training, and calm hands under pressure. The winner writes the new rules for this sea, and everyone else reads them at the pump and the checkout line. If you were on this bridge, staring down China's encirclement, would you press 1 to stand and fight, or 9 to pull back and regroup? Comment with 1 or 9 and subscribe so you don't miss what happens when the next volley flies. 4:32. The first inbound wave is locked. On Ford scopes, more than 20 fast tracks hug the sea from the east. Weapons free. Arleigh Burke destroyers ripple SM-2 skyward. White needles rise, fuse, and burst bright pops where guidance meets metal. It buys seconds, not safety. The Chinese formation doesn't pause. Type 055 and 52Ds push another salvo, cued by shore radar. The American commander knows the rhythm. First volley tests, second saturates, third kills. SM-6, long shots only. Sleek missiles leap high to swat the fastest threats. Calm voices in CIC call, vampire down, vampire down. Enemy missiles destroyed. Above, the E-2D Hawkeye stitches the picture, feeding every ship and fighter. On deck, F-35C launch in pairs. Burners painting the sea orange. Their mission: strike the shooters before the next wave doubles. Gunslingers push 270. The jets climb and feed off Hawkeye's cues. Electronic warfare adds another layer. Jammers smear the sky with noise. Decoy flares and chaff scatter radar seekers. Rule is simple. If the enemy can't see you, he can't hit you. Still, several sea skimmers push close. The cruiser swings her bow, point defense guns track. Counterstrike begins. F-35 Sealoft AGM-88G, AARGM-ER at radars guiding the salvos. Shoot the eyes first, the lead pilot mutters. White plumes vanish into the murk. If the radars blink, the next wave falters. Underwater, a Virginia-class submarine listens. A faint diesel thrum, an enemy sub creeping close. A destroyer launches a helo, dipping sonar. The message is clear. The noose won't tighten for free. More contrails bloom. Interceptors meet skimmers in quick flashes. Two leakers press inside the ring. One dives in a spark. The last dives into chaff and loses lock. 4:39. New boosts flare on the horizon. High arcs climb different geometry, different terror. CIC calls one word that freezes the room: ballistic. DF-21D class threats, steep and fast, drop from the high sky like hammers. The order snaps out. Ship to terminal defense. SM-6 arc for midcourse. The cruiser assigns last. Ditch guns. Decoys and chaff are primed to bloom. CIC rechecks lines. Fighters guard the shooters. Helos sweep the blind spots. 1 minute of math decides it all. If timing slips by a breath, metal meets deck. If timing holds, the sky turns into a wall and the carrier group buys another mile of life. 4:45. The second wave is tighter, faster, more deliberate. Several Chinese drones slip through the jamming net, flying low, barely above the whitecaps. Point defense missiles shred some, but others keep pushing. The carrier group adjusts course 5 degrees starboard to cut angles and shrink its radar profile. Guns track, barrels already hot. The Chinese fleet presses harder. Type 055 destroyers fire coordinated spreads, mixing sea skimmers with supersonic cruise missiles. It's a deliberate tactic, layered strikes meant to overwhelm defenses. Onboard Ford, the combat center juggles priorities. Which threat is real? Which is decoy? Which will arrive in less than 90 seconds? The crew knows, if even one breaks through, the ship could be crippled. Escorts fight with precision. One Arleigh Burke launches SM-2 against mid-range targets, while the Ticonderoga's Aegis system locks the closest tracks for a last-second kill. CIWS turrets spin up, mechanical screams rising as they prepare to spit tungsten. Each weapon has its window fire too early. You waste. Too late, you bleed. In the air, F-35C push deeper. Their strike packages aim at the launch platforms, releasing more AARGM-ER at the radars and comm nodes feeding China's fire control. The E-2D orchestrates the dance, calling vectors, spacing shots, and warning of fresh threats from shore. Every decision is a gamble. Defend the carrier or buy time by killing the shooters. Then tension spikes. Several Chinese sea skimmers streak under the horizon, only seconds out. The cruiser fires a wall of SM-6, interceptors slamming into the dark. Bursts light the horizon, but 2 leakers remain. CIWS guns, thunder, streams of tracers tearing the night, until both vanish in fireballs over the waves. The carrier shakes, but survives. The battle is no longer just defense, it's a duel of stamina. China throws numbers and speed, trying to crack the shield. America counters with sensors, discipline, and timing. One side wagers saturation, the other bets precision. The sea has become a proving ground for who bends first. If you were in command, would you press 1 for fight on, no retreat, or 9 for break contact to survive? Comment with your choice and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next clash. 4:52. Just as the defense steadies, the fight shifts. Radar picks up a new pattern, smaller, faster, weaving above the waves. These aren't cruise missiles or drones already seen. They're a fresh tactic, sea-skimming swarm craft, harder to detect, harder to kill. They dart in groups, splitting lanes, forcing escorts to choose which cluster to fire on. The commander reacts fast. Bring the Virginia up. Beneath the waves, the submarine angles closer, hunting launch platforms. On the surface, the group tightens formation, shrinking its footprint for cleaner intercepts. CIWS guns and ESSM launchers fire in bursts, walls of steel racing out to meet the swarm. Every move is seconds from disaster. CIC tracks them like a storm front. Dozens of tiny blips, closing too quickly for long-range interceptors. Defense shifts to short-range bursts and rapid maneuver. The carrier heels as the helm orders a hard turn, spray crashing over the bow. In the air, F-35C dive low, strafing with missiles and cannon fire. One burst, two swarm craft vanish in fireballs, but more push through, darting under radar, the battle tightens to knife range. Sailors grip the rails as tracers carve red arcs across the night. The twist is clear. China has added a new layer. Not just long-range missiles or salvos, but expendable fast craft saturating from below radar. The carrier group fights on, but the margin narrows. One mistake, one miss, and steel meets steel at lethal speed. This moment is more than tactics, it's adaptation in real time. Each second, one side invents, the other responds. The question hangs, how many waves can be endured before even the best defense cracks? 4:59. The last wave comes in hard, faster than anything before. Ballistic arcs dive steep from the high sky, while sea skimmers cut low, weaving through the foam. It is the perfect storm. High, low, fast, and many all at once. The carrier strike group braces. This is the moment when everything either holds or breaks. SM-6 away! Missiles roar from launch cells, their white tails spearing upward to meet the plunging DF-21D midcourse. Intercepts light the night with blossoms of fire. Some warheads shatter, others keep coming. The cruiser's Aegis system shifts targets every second, feeding the guns and missiles with a rhythm that sounds almost mechanical. Closer, the last line opens. CIWS guns, thunder, streams of tungsten pouring out in glowing rivers. Flares burst, chaff clouds bloom, and electronic warfare teams throw noise across every frequency. The carrier shudders under its own maneuvers, hull groaning as it cuts a hard turn to unmask batteries. Overhead, F-35C streak back, their magazines light but their presence vital. One jet dives head-on at a sea skimmer, launching its last missile at point-blank range. Explosion fills the night, shockwave rattling the deck below. The crew cheers for seconds before another alarm cuts in. A leaker remains, seconds from impact. The cruiser fires its last ESSM. Tracers from CIWS converge. Sailors brace for the strike. The projectile erupts in a final fireball, fragments raining harmlessly into the sea. Spray lashes the bow, smoke hangs heavy, but the horizon clears. For now, the group still floats. The climax is survival bought at the edge of collapse. China through numbers, waves, and innovation. America answered with timing, sensors, and sheer endurance. Both sides know this. Another round, larger still, could change the balance. Tonight the shield held. Tomorrow, the test begins again. If you were standing on this deck watching missiles rain from the sky, would you press 1 for America stands firm or 9 for China's pressure wins in the end? Comment below with 1 or 9 and subscribe so you're here when the next battle begins. 5:20. Silence spreads across the Philippine Sea. Smoke drifts, the horizon scarred with fading fireballs. The carrier group floats intact, battered but unbroken. Sailors exhale. Some slumping against bulkheads, others gripping their stations with white knuckles. Damage control teams fan out, chalking hits and resetting breakers while medics make quick rounds. They survived a storm few navies could endure. The result is clear. The U.S. carrier lived through the encirclement. China through destroyers, frigates, submarines, drones, and ballistic missiles, and still the forward sails. Command nets across the region crackle with cautious relief. By 5:45, Chinese ships peel away, emissions dim, and the noose loosens. The message ripples far beyond this sea. Allies see proof that America's shield can still hold. But survival carries its own warning. Every SM-6 and AARGM fired costs millions. Every CIWS burst spends ammo that takes weeks to replenish. China's salvos are cheap, fast, and repeatable. Each clash forces America to burn expensive rounds to kill low-cost threats. It is a contest of wallets as much as willpower, and the math does not favor defense forever. For the crew, the night becomes memory. They will drill again tomorrow, because another wave could come with no warning. They know the headlines will tell a story of victory, but in their hearts, they feel the weight. This was only one round in a longer game. The strategic meaning is simple but sharp. Tonight, deterrence was reinforced, but tomorrow, the test repeats, with larger waves, tighter salvos, and more complexity. The balance hangs on whether America can keep matching adaptation with adaptation, and whether China decides to risk even more. For now, the sea lanes stay open, the world's trade flows, and a single carrier strike group has shown it can endure under fire. But the next clash may not end the same way, and everyone watching knows it. If you believe America's endurance will keep holding, press 1. If you think China's pressure will eventually break the shield, press 9. Drop your choice below and subscribe so you're here when the next episode unfolds.